today I wanted to make a video on the post-op aftercare for your dog after they get neutered or spayed, fixed if you will, because Mochi, who's chilling right here off camera, at 13 months just got neutered, I guess 8 days ago now. And I do have some tips for fellow dog owners that are about to go through the same thing, or maybe are going through the same thing right now and are about to experience this recovery period, which is really important. Depending on which surgery your dog got, so if they're male they got neutered, if they're female they got spayed, this might differ a little bit. I know for females it's a more invasive procedure, so it might take a few days longer for them to recover or to be normal again. Maybe the vet will prescribe different medicine than what we got with Mochi. All of those factors are different, and yeah, so like recovery, pain, all those factors might be a little different depending on gender, where you are, what breed, whatever. But these tips I hope should help any dog owner out in one way or another. So let's get started with how to take care of your dog after they get their neutering or spaying surgery. So first and foremost, I just want to make it really clear that you should listen to what your vet advises. I'm not a vet, I'm not any kind of medical professional, and everything I mentioned in this video does include what my vet told me with Mochi and my personal experience and all the research that I've conducted. But don't forget, first and foremost, what your vet tells you, because maybe you're in a special situation, etc., etc. In terms of the very, very basics of what you should do, and I'm sure every vet will say this, but you should check the incision daily, ideally twice, for infection. Just look at it. Usually when your dog like rolls over to let you pet their stomach, you can just take a quick look. Make sure it's not infected or anything like that. Make sure the stitches haven't become falling out. Make sure your dog's not licking it. That's really important. Also, keep the area dry. Do not wash them. Do not, let them walk through really high wet grass, like stuff like that. You really want to keep the area as dry as possible. Another basic, restrict movement from as soon as they get the surgery, ideally until the 10 to 14 days it takes for them to recover until the vet can take the stitches out. That means no running, no jumping, especially no playing with other dogs, and no going to like really off-road places where he can, get their area of surgery scratched by like weeds and stuff like that. And overall, I think it's really important to create a really calm environment. So some tips I have are actually to keep the room dark, because I've seen that really calms Mochi down. Maybe play one of those like YouTube hour-long videos that play relaxing dog music. Also, your dog can definitely feed off your energy, so don't be running around like cleaning in the first few days after their surgery. Obviously, you shouldn't like halt your whole life. Obviously, dog owners have lives outside of their dogs, not me. But yeah, dogs can feed off your energy, so if you stay calm, try to restrict your movement, maybe have a lazy few days, schedule the surgery on a Friday so you have Saturday and Sunday off to chill. And yeah, that's going to make a huge difference. If you keep a really calm environment, it makes recovery a lot easier for you and your dog. The second tip I have for aftercare from neutering or spaying, and I wish someone told me this because I did not do this with Mochi, you should start training for wearing the cone before you even or your dog even gets the surgery, or as soon as possible, if not before. You should always keep like the Elizabethan collar, aka the cone of shame, on if your dog is not supervised, or maybe some dogs I know wear like those little like diaper things. Anything to keep your dog from licking the stitches. So for Mochi, thankfully I am a student and my work and my studies are all online, so I'm very fortunate that I get to stay home all day. I have been for the last 8 days in his recovery, so I'm always watching. So he's only had to wear the cone at nighttime, and we'll get into nighttime in another topic I wrote down because that's a really important time. But yeah, anytime he's not supervised, so if I go to the gym, my boyfriend's not home either, then he'll have to wear the cone. But you're gonna notice the moment you put the cone on, your dog might like freeze up, kind of like when you put like rain boots on your dogs. It's obviously very uncomfortable, but the cone is something really easy you can just train and desensitize to. So I would recommend before you even get the surgery, and again, if you can't do that, like I couldn't, just start training as soon as they get home. Put the cone on them, tighten it so like 2 human fingers can, dogs don't have fingers. Tighten it so that 2 fingers fit under the cone and their fur/skin. And then the moment you put it on, start giving them some really yummy treats they like. And then they're gonna start associating with the cone with like yummy treats. And after, I don't know, 3 or 4 10-minute sessions of that, obviously don't streamline treats for 10 minutes straight. Maybe give him like 3 treats, wait a few minutes, give him a treat, and start really short sessions. So after 5 minutes of that, like take off the cone, let him breathe, do it again maybe 2 hours later. The goal essentially is to desensitize them to this cone so that when he does need to wear it, by then hopefully they're already desensitized used to it and they don't mind it as much. The third thing that you should really watch out for after or during the recovery period is exercise. Okay, the official advice is that during the recovery period, which is usually around 10 to 14 days, your dog shouldn't move, and if he does move, it should be really short walks outside. And I'm gonna keep it real. Mochi was active after 2 days. So this was really kind of blindsided me. So my last family dog was already neutered when we got him from the shelter. So this is the first time experiencing it myself. But so our vet basically was like, don't let him move for like, you know, a week or more. So I figured that because of like the painkillers that they prescribe you, the dog should be like lethargic. And I'm sure a lot of dogs are. But Mochi obviously is a herding dog, and also a lot of other active dogs, I'm sure are the same way. They'll start going back to normal by like day 2 or 3, especially if it's a boy. So the neutering surgery is really not a big deal. It took 30 minutes, so obviously the surgery is not as big of a deal as like spaying. So your male dog might be back to normal if you're anything like Mochi by day 2 or 3. I am really thankful that I have prepared exercises because I did a video recently on how to entertain your dog when it's raining outside, so be sure to check that out because this applies to this too. You really want to have some exercises that exhaust your dog without physically running them. Starting day 3, Mochi did start going on some more walks, but you should always keep them on a short leash to prevent them from like full on running. And then the issue though is that that's usually not enough for a dog like Mochi that's used to like 3.5 hours of walking every day. So then we get to these indoor exercises that I again made a video on, so check out, but really briefly they may include stuff like a sniff mat, a food puzzle, the treats and the towel puzzle type thing, and there's a lot of other ways you can entertain your dog indoors without risk of injury or infection of the wound. Like, let's be honest, it's not going to be an easy chill time for your dog after like day 2 or 3 because they're probably not even going to be feeling pain anymore. They're going to want to run, play, all these things, but you really shouldn't for at least like 10 days. So then these indoor exercises that are going to stimulate their mind are really going to make it or break it. The next thing I have written down on how to take care of your dog post-operation is that you really have to be prepared for the nighttime. So nighttime is a really crucial time because it's usually when all the humans are sleeping. But for dogs, even though they do sleep through the night, if maybe you noticed, maybe you didn't, but your dog, 99% likely that they are running around or walking around the room during the nighttime. Like they usually sleep for a few hours, switch positions, they walk around, sleep for a few hours and stuff like that. So there are times when your dog is awake and you're not. So this is a really, really important time to use the Elizabethan collar or the diaper. And then on top of that though, you might want to invest in like a puppy pen, like a little fence, so that they can't jump up onto your bed because jumping is really bad. Or if they're crate trained, put them in the crate so you can restrict their movement, and put on the cone, diaper, whatever to prevent them from licking. My second to last tip for aftercare of a dog after getting neutered or spayed is to get some chews. So get some chewing toys or bones or hides. Mochi personally loves cow hooves, which we get from our local barf shop, which is where we get like his raw food. And you can also venture out to find something like that, ideally like organic and healthy for your dog, but something that also entertains him, because when you get him something like a chew, it entertains him for usually like 30 minutes to an hour or more depending on the dog. And this will be super helpful when your dog is going to start getting restless, because it will happen like I mentioned earlier, and for the restricted movement. So if they can get their frustration out by chewing something, it's really going to help them out and also help you entertain them. My last tip, and this should come as a given, but do not forget to schedule a follow-up with your vet. So usually you have 2 follow-ups after the surgery. One is to just kind of check in on the vet, on the wound a few days after the surgery, and then the other one should be around 2 weeks after to remove the stitches. Be aware of that, to ask your vet about that kind of procedure and to make those appointments so that everything can go smoothly and they can go back to normal as soon as possible. And that's what you can expect for your post-op care to look like after you neuter or spay your dog. I hope this video helps. Again, this is not advice on whether you should neuter your dog, when you should neuter your dog. I really have no advice on that. I'm just saying, if you do get your dog neutered or spayed, I hope these tips can help out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment how your dog's recovery period went. And we'll see you next time on Mochi's Tales. Bye!